Hello, America. Dave Hodges here, host of the Common Sense Show. We are the show that is freeing America one enslaved mind at a time. Thank you so much for joining us. Really good to be with you as I got the itchy allergy nose today. But I'm feeling great. I've been through a really interesting time in the ER. Yeah, had a little virus going on, wanted to make sure it didn't get worse. And so here I am, a little better, no fever. So happy to continue on. Um, we defend God, family, country here, we do. I didn't say God, family, another country. It's God, family, this country. And I believe in charity and love towards all. I believe in close alliances, good trade relationships, and all that being said, we're going to talk about something that's highly, highly disturbing. But I want to first start with a little bit of a metaphor. If I were to hold up a Chinese flag, and I think this is an immature act, I'm just using this as a point of example. But if I were to hold up a Chinese flag and I was to burn it in protest to how the Chinese government treats the Falun Gong and also the Uyghurs and how they do, well, all kinds of surgical procedures that we would consider to be abhorrent in this country, um, no one would say anything. I mean, the Chinese wouldn't be happy about CCP. They might put a price on my head, but the people here in this country, the legal system, the government, President Trump, they would understand it. And they would, even if they didn't want to publicly acknowledge it, they would privately agree with me. Hey, no problem there, right? Does that mean that when I do that, and if I destroy the flag or desecrate the Chinese flag in any way, does that happen to mean that I am against all Chinese people? I think it's ridiculous. Of course not. I'm against the CCP's racist policies and prejudicial actions towards groups they don't agree with, including Christians. But this particular piece is not about the Chinese. No, it's not. It's about another country that's colonizing America, and they're getting special privilege in the courts on issues the Supreme Court has already ruled on in violation of these rulings. We're going to tell you all about it right here on the show. And first, wanted to let you know our sponsor is Ironhawk Financial. And I'm getting thank you notes now from people in our audience. And oh, they couldn't help me, but they directed me towards something. Thank you, Dave. You do have caring, concerning sponsors. We do. We do. We are really careful about who we let sponsor our show. We really are because we want them to put their people first, not profits over people. And we see that every single day with the people we've chosen. And Ironhawk is one of those people. They can set you on a path for tremendous wealth. You have to qualify. They're not going to try to sell you any kind of plan. They're just going to be, we can help you, we can't help you. We can't help you, here's what we think you should do. And it's a short, quick decision. But the process is not short and quick because they have to satisfy every federal regulation. They walk through lockstep, explain to you exactly what they want to do. You get the final decision, but you have several conferences with them during the process to make sure it's according to what you want, your plan. But the ultimate goal is to make you much more profitable. And money is not evil. It's what you do with the money. And money is not evil until it becomes your God. That's not what this is about. This is about becoming financially independent, particularly for people in their retirement years where inflation is destroying static income. I love Ironhawk Financial. I do, because they're doing the right thing for people. Have a conversation with them. Let's see if they can help you. Go to dhawk.com. That's dhawk.com and put in your contact information, and one of their reps will be in charge. By the way, two of the reps are people who went to them because of what they heard me say about them. Yeah, they're from our audience. dhawk.com. All right, let's get down to the matter here. No one would have a problem with desecrating the Chinese flag because of their abhorrent political persecution activities. Nobody, not in this country. Now, the Supreme Court has already ruled that you can burn the American flag. It's not a crime. It's First Amendment right. I don't like it, but I respect the law. I respect the Supreme Court ruling. I respect the First Amendment. And although I might want to weep and I would be filled with anger, I would say this is their right. You can make a personal judgment. But those principles don't apply to another nation. And this is where I'm really problematic. And I want to say this. By my birthright, I could apply for citizenship in this country because I am one quarter Jewish. My grandmother's side, Grandma Elsie Freiberg, I could do that. So I'm obviously not against Jewish people. Dean Cohen, love you, brother, who was one of my teammates and best friends in college, Jewish, love the family. They treated me like their own son. Spent many nights in their house. It's not the issue. The issue is a foreign government imposing their will on the people of the United States and making us pay for it. And when we complain, they're militarizing our justice system against American citizens. Our own justice system is going after Americans on phony, baloney, anti-Semitic charges that aren't valid. But let me explain to you a case here. Let's talk about a woman who's now an American, and she was Lebanese, and she was protesting in Washington, D.C., and there were two groups that opposed each other, pro-Israeli, 10-7, blah, 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 all that stuff. And then the genocide in Gaza, there was the other group, okay, and they interacted with each other. Should have been police there to separate them, keep them apart. They weren't, so the law enforcement was negligent. And one lady named Miss Ali, she tugged on an Israeli flag that was being worn as clothing. You've seen how people like wear American flag. I was watching part of the Cincinnati, Arizona Diamondbacks game last night when I was in the ER. I was watching it on my phone, and the catcher for the Cincinnati Reds was like it's like an American flag. I thought it was pretty cool. Okay, nothing wrong with that. Wear the Israeli flag. Wear it with pride that that's what you believe. It's your First Amendment right. This lady goes up and she tugs on it because she's really upset about the fate, particularly of Lebanese children in Gaza. And because she tugged on the flag, she was found to be not guilty in a lower court of assault and battery and all that good stuff. It's dismissed. But the ADL, the Anti-Defamation League, filed a federal lawsuit against this individual, claiming anti-Semitic racist activity. Okay, now, the Supreme Court has already said you can desecrate the American flag or the flag of any nation. That's your First Amendment right. But that's now being turned on its head. A federal judge is allowing this to go to trial. And the claims in this lawsuit, I was reviewing some of the claims, are just outrageous. First, there was a claim there was no Palestinians there before 1930. That's a bold-faced lie. That's historically inaccurate. And yet they went on to say the Palestinians were put there to prevent the Jews from propagating. It's another lie. This is the kind of crap that's in this lawsuit. Just total misinformation. And this was challenged, and the judge let it stand. And this woman on American soil, living under American law, is being prosecuted for tugging on an Israeli flag as an anti-Semitic activity. Okay, now let's apply a little logic here. I'm Christian and I'm an American. I love my country. I don't agree with a lot of things going on today, but I love my country. I'm a Christian first. If you burn my flag, you're not attacking my faith. I take it as an affront to my patriotism, my loyalty to my country, my thankfulness for a great constitution. and many people who serve without distinction for my benefit. That's what flag burning is. But it doesn't take away from my Christianity. It's not preventing me from going to church, not preventing me from tithing, not preventing me from taking communion or praying. Okay. But in this instance, with the Israeli flag, they get special privilege under the law that no other nation enjoys. And you know what that special privilege is? If you say anything about their government, if you say anything about the flag, which is a representation of the government, not of Jewish people, because the American flag is not representative of the Christian people. This is why Christianity has its own flag. We declare allegiance to that flag. Now, why is it that Israel, the nation, the government, gets special privilege in an American court that no other nation enjoys, including our own? And I want to just say this to the ADL lawyers who thought this was a good idea. Most of us don't have the time to be anti anything, anti-black, anti-Jewish, anti-anything. We're too busy trying to keep the wolf from our door and live our lives and raise our kids the right way. What we don't need is to have another distraction. And I will tell you this, as people see this, if your worry is about anti-Semitism, and this is not anti-Semitic, for me to criticize Netanyahu for the war criminal he is, and he is, and it's been adjudicated internationally, he is a war criminal, prosecuted and convicted. For me to say that, that's not anti-Semitic coming from one quarter Semitic. It's not anti-Semitic. It's political. It's criminal. It's governmental. But we're conflating the flag with an ethnicity. Pretty interesting, isn't it? And this is what's happening to America. And I would say this to the ADL. If your intention is political control, I understand your motivation. Oh, I wholly disagree with you. And I hope God steps in and stops you. But on the other hand, if your goal is to truly prevent anti-Semitism, and I don't think that's your goal, I think your goal is power. But if your goal is anti-Semitism prevention, you're going to achieve the opposite of this. You're going to make more Americans anti-Semitic because of the special privilege you're trying to bestow upon Jewish people. And here's the interesting thing. I don't hear the average Jewish person calling for this. This is simply out of leadership. This isn't grassroots anything. And it needs to stop. And our government needs to stop it. And right now, our government is controlled. And if you don't believe it's controlled, let me give you two facts to consider before I close. And if you think I'm wrong, okay, well, then answer these two questions. Would a sovereign, independent nation ever allow its military equal funding, equal consideration, equal power by merging the two militaries? The answer is no and heck no, and it's never happened before in history in any other two nations. Ever. Never. Ever. And I'm angry about it because I don't want to pay for Israel's wars of occupation and pay for it with my tax money and pay for it with our American lives. And that's about what's ready to happen in Iran. Now, Iran sounds like they're waving the white flag, but how many times can you yell wolf till you start ignoring it? Second question I have is this. To me, this is the sine qua non of the whole issue. Do you think there's any excuse to allow a foreign nation, regardless of the nation, doesn't have to be Israel, it could be China, it could be Russia, it could be Germany, it could be the UK, Canada, Mexico, I don't care. But should any legislative person in America elected by the people, sworn to uphold the Constitution and defend it and defend the people, should they be accepting donations from foreign governments? Well, APAC, the only foreign representative body lobbyist in our country that doesn't have to register under FARA, the only one, they contribute to the campaigns of 94% of every representative and every senator. So if I make the statement, America is being colonized by an improper judicial precedent, by the merging of militaries, and now by the buying of our politicians, and there's no other way to look at it, it's money. It's money to gain favor. That's what lobbyists do. This is why I say these following things, and I'll repeat them again. Number one, you're never going to get Congress to vote against their own interests. And they will never invoke the reforms to elections that I think need to happen for the people to become the primary recipient of government benefit. The American people, the people who pay for this government, the people who elect its representatives only to have them turn on them to represent foreign interests because their money speaks louder than your minuscule contributions. Here are the reforms that have to happen. And then I'll tell you the only way it's going to happen. Number one, do you want to hear the rest? Come to the next segment. Then I'll give you number one, number two, and number three. America's hanging in the balance right now, people. Who would I rather ever have conquer America? And I'm going to answer this question right here. Would it be Israel or China? I'll take Israel in a heartbeat. Israel or Canada? Canada is run by an elitist banker out of the Bank of London who only cares about one thing. Yeah, global domination. And the Canadians are suffering greatly. They scare me more than Israel does. Russia, no thank you. Don't want Putin, don't want KGB running my country. But I don't want Israel running my country either. And we need to stop it before it's too late. Don't need to punish Israel. We don't need to disassociate with Israel. We need a close alliance with Israel. We need to respect them. We need to encourage whatever religion they want to follow. Those are our national laws. Now, as a Christian, I hope they all come to Jesus. But I'm certainly not going to invoke persecution or anti-Semitism. But for me to disagree with Israeli actions from their government does not make me anti-Semitic. And part of me, when I was doing this report, I wished I was fully Jewish. So I couldn't even say, well, 3/4 is not Jewish, so therefore you're still anti-Semitic. Oh, and I've been told that. No, I'm not anti-Semitic. I honor that part of my background that's Jewish, but I practice the religion of Jesus Christ. And I'm tired of it being interfered with. And I'm standing up to this tyranny. And one of the reasons I associate myself with Mike and Jeannie Kerr, Hear the Watchmen, they bring together great people, great pastors like Paul Begley. I look at that and I just say, they bring them on to say, here's good examples of Christianity, and we get a lot of self-reinforcing statements because our religion is wonderful. It's from God. But they also say, here are the threats, and we should help guard our church. And these people will tell you the threats. There's not a lot of groups doing that right now. And I was doing it independently because I said, someone's got to speak up and say this. And they came to me, Mike and Jeannie, and said, Dave, we'd like you to start presenting at our conferences. We have joint interests. And I said, I'm honored. I'm truly honored. I went and I participated in their conference first weekend in August. And I was sitting there listening to the fellow presenters, and I was in awe. I was in awe. They were so knowledgeable, so influential, so charismatic in terms of You just loved them. When they talked, you just could feel their honesty and sincerity and their Christ-like behavior. And I would encourage you to follow hearthewatchman.com. And they do weekly devotionals, and they have people in there like Tracy Tennant. Oh, Tracy's awesome. And she's saying Christians are going to prepare for a hard day coming. And she says, here are some of the things you can do to prepare. I think it's valuable information. I'm going to have Tracy on my show. And then we have Jamie Walden. He was talking about the signs and revelation that are appearing around the world with all the earthquake activity and all the other stuff going. Listen, I'm just telling you, these people have your best interest at heart. They are the watchmen on the wall, and I would encourage you to follow them. And I try to be true to that principle. And when we come back in the next segment, I'm going to tell you exactly how I think we should be proceeding with handling our corrupt elections. And a lot of it is keeping Israel out of the fold. Oh, anti-Semitic, really? Well, I think we should keep the Chinese out of the fold. Didn't President Trump just say that? And I agree with him. President Trump's best recent speech was about him exposing China in our elections. He was awesome in that speech because I've researched this pretty thoroughly, and everything he said, I go, bingo, 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 bingo. Thank you, President Trump. We're going to go through it all. And then we need to unite. Faith without works is useless. You need to put your faith to work. In other words, when you know something is wrong and it violates not just our national laws, but the laws of God, then we need to do something about it. We need to stand up to it. This is why I like to say I'm in the Ephesians 5:11 business. I'm shining light on the nonsense so we can get it stopped. You know, well, the tribulation's coming anyway. You don't know when it's coming. Jesus said, we don't know when my time will be when I return. And we're not even supposed to speculate. We have to live each day as if there's going to be tomorrow and plan accordingly. But you also better live each day in preparation of the return. And to me, those two goals coincide. They're the same. I'm Dave Hodges. I just love you for coming here. I really do. Please go out and do good today. God bless all of you. We'll see you back here next time.